Fallout London, or as Bethesda likes to call it, "Oi mate, you got a license for that Fallout," is the latest Fallout game from Bethesda Game Studio, made by Obsidian Entertainment, made by some blokes. You play as John London as you attempt to find a leasable domicile within the greater London area for less than £3,000 per month. Brackets impossible. As a consequence of this dire housing shortage, the lower classes have radicalized into one of two political parties, while the rich have insulated themselves in the largest gated community they could find. And now we get to spend the next several hours wandering between the various gangs and militias that call Old Blighty home. Set in dystopian post-Brexit London, Fallout London tells a harrowing tale of a murderous, lab-grown monster known as British people. And oh boy, is this game British. This game is so British it's colonized an alarming amount of my SSD. While there's something poetic about New England getting taken over by Old England, if I have any criticism, it would be the fact that I am forced to experience the UK in any quantity. In this grim and depressing world, the church has been conquered by American evangelicals. The people speak a strange, indecipherable language known as English. And the last remaining powers with any authority are the House of Lords and the local football clubs. You'll comment on Minchesterton Shireton losing to Hemington upon Avonford Mill, and get jumped by 30 of the angriest, drunkest, baldest men who have ever lived. Fallout London sets itself apart from the rest of the franchise by being a mod made by a group of fans in their spare time. Apparently, if you like Fallout 4, you can just make more of it. But in that sense, its mere existence is nothing short of a minor miracle. The graveyards are filled with Fallout conversion mods that stopped posting updates 3 years ago. I'm sorry to all the post-apocalyptic Florida enjoyers. You'll have to content yourself with going outside and experiencing actual Florida. This one seems to have benefited from being some sort of project of national pride for the UK. I'm just glad they finally have something to be proud of.
What the hell is this?
Also, being a mod, there are more than a few bugs, including an alarming amount of characters in blackface and several stability issues. So I'm glad they were able to capture the authentic Bethesda experience. Even so, Fallout London is still the best Fallout game released this decade. In fact, it's the only Fallout game we're gonna get this decade. Unless you count the Fallout 4 next-gen update that broke the game that Bethesda still hasn't fixed. So if you even want to play this mod, you'll have to roll back your version. My other advice is install Buffout 4. I don't even want to make a joke about it because I really want you to take this advice. It runs so much better, my god. But this is still a Big Beak Entertainment video, so even though I will be pointing out elements of this game which are garbage, keep in mind that any and all complaints may simply be deflected with the everything-proof shield that is, it's free. Heads up if you're British accents are the only accent I cannot do. So grab that TV license, put that knife in the nearest collection bin, and pour yourself a nice cuppa as we explore the brutal, beautiful, and deranged world of Fallout London. Do pardon the interruption, Sir Knight. Dawn is upon us, and thou must awaken. Oh, you got a license for that crime against nature? Oh, get your ass up, you fucking wanker! Smashing out of the vat, we find ourselves in some sort of evil crimes against nature lab. Since we don't outwardly appear to be a crime against nature, we attempt to escape the facility until we're stopped by the enigmatic Agent Smythe. Well, you're quite the wayfarer, aren't you? I'm Agent Smythe, and if my identity isn't obvious by now, just start the game over as a different gender. It looks as though I'm about to explode. Anyway, be seeing you. Escaping the lab, we board Britain's extremely safe rail infrastructure. Unfortunately, because someone forgot to do track maintenance, we experience a certified rail franchising moment. You got a license for that train derailment, Samurai? Because we've taken the tube, we've received a debuff to our health, as well as been dumped into the dangerous streets of New Cross, surrounded by vicious and hostile mutants known as South Londoners. This includes the Vagabond Street Gang, led by Sebastian Gaunt, the biggest bastard south of the Thames, because all the bigger bastards moved north. Excuse me, sir, I've just taken this train, so I'm stacking debuffs like flapjacks. Can you tell me where the nearest doctor is? Oi, you're the right jammy git, you know that? You were in the jar with those boffins. I'd say you trundle like a wonky numpty if you weren't so full of beans. Nothing but quacks around these dives. Well, I got some bits and bobs for a right jammy bastard. Head on down to Thameshaven. At this point, I decided not to waste any more time talking to the English. But for surviving the latest tube disaster, we're gifted the legendary bin knife. This is a much better gift than you might realize. The only alternative at this level is owning a musket for home defense. Welcome to Thameshaven, or as it's known in the latest UN report, Cholera Town. This town is currently under a serious lockdown. The brutal reason for this is a bunch of slugs. What the fuck? How did the slugs even do this? We meet the leader of Thameshaven, this, fish. He'd be doing me an enormous favor if you set off a bomb in our basement.
Is that the support beam to the house?
What's a support beam? After undermining the town's structure by blowing up a random load-bearing column, we return to Rachel. If you want to learn more about the lab you woke up in, go and find Archie, a human child. I had to give him the sack because half the town is racist, and the other half isn't technically allowed to live that close to a school zone. At one of the local British Airways wrecks, we meet Archie, who tells us, "Heyo, governor, I was toss-potted in the nick I was." Archie, what the fuck are you talking about? To enter the secret lab Archie supposedly told us about, we must first engage the services of a ferryman who has somehow managed to operate a financially successful transit system in the middle of downtown London. I ain't taking nowhere north of the river this time of night. A lot of loonies out there. What if I shoot them for you? Welcome to the opening of Modern Warfare 2, except we're not being held hostage by that pesky Geneva Convention and can freely throw Molotov cocktails into civilian structures. The alternative is using a musket, but honestly, you'd be better off mail ordering your attacks. By the time you reload, you'll be several nautical miles past your target. And that's why I started the 4th Great Fire of London, Your Honor. Yeah, I'm getting out of here. A lot of bad sorts this side of the river. We're surrounded by cannibals right now. Anyway, later, Archie. Entering the secret lab, we find man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Hi, Judge Holden. I loved Blood Meridian. I knew if I came to England, I'd be killed by bald white people. After defeating the English's final evolutionary stage, we find a terminal that tells us Princess Smythe is in another castle. You know, Governor, there was a right fogey codger named Lazarus who built those Pindar stations living in St. Paul's Cathedral. Maybe you know something. Archie, I swear, man, I'm only getting like every 6th word here. Welcome to St. Paul's Cathedral. It's still under control of the Anglican Church, allegedly, if you don't count the American flags. Here we find a Frenchman they've placed in charge of security, because if a French guy can survive for this long in England, you know he's got to be tough. Kills the lady who runs the gang. At this point, I decided to not waste any more time talking to the French. But if we want to gain entry to St. Paul's, we'll need to do a bit of light crusading. Excuse me, Father. Holy hell, we scared the bejesus out of me, man. God bless and all that. Are you a real priest or are you just cosplaying as one to squat here? Oh, of course I am. Bless this mess and Hail Mary and call the midwife and all that. Thanks for doing that divine whack job, by the way. Here's $200 for the job and no questions. Okay, I'm looking for a guy named Lazarus. Oh yeah, that guy. I kicked him out for selling drugs. Turned out it was mostly stems. He also used to build bunkers where they turn people into crabs. You hear about this? Unfucking believable. Is there any way I can wait, what about crabs? By the grace of every conceivable and inconceivable deity, we located and interrogate the original architect of the Pindar stations. So what can you tell me about this secret lab I've been hearing so much about? It's off at the fucking tube, I guess, around. I fucking swear to— If we're going to enter the Pindar station, we'll need to ascend the class structure to find someone with a legible accent. In that spirit, we go to the Imperial War Museum, headquarters of the Tommies, World War I cosplayers who act like the security force for the aristocratic gentry faction who nominally controls London. Here we meet Colonel Major and General Admiral, both recently escaped from a Monty Python sketch. General Admiral, I need to get into the King's Cross Pindar station. Ah, jolly good, my lad. That's a capital station. My own grandfather was raised in that station, and he was barely inbred at all from marrying his mother. Yeah. Who are you? John London. Right. Who am I? Is there someone less inbred I could speak with? The general is very tired. Here's that gas mask you wanted. Wait, what do I need this for? To get to the Pindar station, you'll need to go through Islington. Okay, well, how bad can that be?
Charlie, I can't go into that thing. That's hell. Yeah, no, it's okay.
Welcome to Islington, a quaint London neighborhood where the favorite community activities are gang warfare and dying of the plague. Why are you guys just hanging out here? No one is making you be here. You can leave. Oh yeah, we know, but rent's only £2,000 per month. Shit, for real? After exploring the local rental market, we make our way inside the Pindar station. Smythe flees on a train and triggers the self-destruct, which we immediately cancel by injecting ourselves with the exciting mystery syringe that also cures our train derailment disease. You think you're a real top bloke, huh? If you find yourself knackered at the bin, head on over to my flat round Westminster. I'm not sure what he said, but I think he was calling us out. Welcome to Westminster, the gentry's gated community and home of shady car salesmen, this asshole from Fallout 3, and the world's drunkest train drivers. Because the population is several social classes above the rest of London, it's practically a pre-war city. People go about their business as usual, and everything mostly works. Even the escalators work. Even the trains work. Except for this one, that crashed and then exploded like a V2 rocket. If we're going to be allowed into Parliament to complain about rail privatization, we'll need to dress more inconspicuously. Almost as inconspicuous as the Bobby outside Westminster wearing blackface. Oh, I heard that. Oh, I knew this was a mistake. If you don't tell no one, I'll tell you how to get inside. If we want to get into Westminster, we'll need to collect signatures from the leader of every tax-paying borough in the country. Luckily, the UK no longer exists, so there's only like 4 now. Camden, an anarchist commune that pays its taxes for some reason. Hackney, another separate anarchist commune. Lambeth, yet another completely distinct anarchist commune. And Islington, which is creatively rent-controlled. To get these petitions signed, we'll need to render service for service, each service more annoying than the last. I have to build a bridge over this? When do they install an active volcano under Dulwich? Or we can just nix some paperwork and get this guy to forge the signatures we need. Team Fallen, I'd like to suggest an alternate route for this quest where you convince Bishop Wayland to name you Archbishop of Canterbury, formally making you a member of the House of Lords. But since we're not one of the Lords Spiritual, we return to Parliament with our petition, where the usual guy has been replaced by ICE officers. Yeah, got caught wearing blackface he did, so he got promoted. Well, I've gotten all the signatures I need for you to be legally required to let me into the building. Well, Head run back to the phone booth and answer it. They'll be waiting. Well, since I have no choice but to fall for this obvious trap, let's descend into the sub-basement incinerator and listen to some public domain music before blacking out. Wank just spotted dick up, samurai. Listen, we both know this one's not gonna hold you. When you escape, go to the Science Museum and see Mr. X. I'm not doing that, that's obviously a porn name. After briefly escaping prison, we enter the Science Museum, where we quickly locate Mr. X, a political dissident who runs Angel's version of Project MKUltra. Yeah, that's what political dissidents do. Nah, I actually really hate Smythe. Guess what? He'll be attending the Renaissance Fair. It'll be the perfect place to assassinate him. No, you don't understand. If I commit a murder at a Renaissance Fair, I'm no better than anyone else there. To gain entrance into the fair, we must first defeat this fascist robot in a debate. Because I'm not an unprepared college kid, I did so easily and sent him home to rethink his life. Instead of being given explosives by Mr. X, we have to source them ourselves from local fair market producers. Luckily, one of the competitors here is a very sore loser, and we find time charges in his locker. Now we just have to sit back, relax, and enjoy our terrorist attack. Hello, this is Mr. Smythe. Because y'all couldn't behave, we need to declare London a police state. But since it already was a police state, you really won't be noticing any changes. That is all. Welcome to the third act, the one where every Fallout game except one in New Vegas starts to fall apart a little bit, because now we need to choose a faction to rule over this plague-ridden volcanoscape of Old Blighty. Like any government is going to be able to fix a fucking volcano. We get to choose between the evil one, the good one, or the other evil one. Angel is basically the Enclave, except at some point everyone realized how stupid the Enclave is, and now the only staff they can find for it are clones. Oh no, I've got a bad feeling about this. To support Angel, we've been assigned to assist on some of their latest needlessly elaborate crimes against humanity. In this case, it's a giant hyper-intelligent psychic crab named Reggie who was grafted together from the body parts of human subjects. But he seems like a swell enough guy, so I decided to release him into the Thames. I have a good feeling about this. Outside the aquarium, a payphone rings, but if we answer it, every single person in London will immediately know and want to kill me for it. So instead, let's go hang out with some uncontroversial people nobody wants to kill. Self-identified fifth columnists. The fifth column have exchanged their honor and liberty for proximity to the writer's barely disguised fetish. A woman who can best be described as an SS MILF running a simp paramilitary. And after saying that out loud, I crave the sweet release of death.
Whoa! Is that fucking blackface, dude?
Jesus, everyone's in blackface. We find a man who at least has the good sense to cover up his blackface, John Smith, who wants us to go to the British Museum and steal some books on political philosophy for Eve Varney's daughter, Lily. But when we return, this triggers a domestic dispute where John and Eve lock themselves in a room upstairs and scream bloody murder at each other in front of Lily. And I don't know if this conversation bugged out and started looping, or if the quest writer was striving for an uncomfortable level of realism, but the argument literally did not end. John told me to wait here for him, and I've now been waiting 30 real-life minutes for this fight to end. Team Fallon, are you guys okay? I'm not having fun anymore. I'm just gonna head out. Good luck with your fascist party. After meeting the faction whose every mission is a crime against humanity, and the faction whose every mission is a crime against God, we meet the last faction whose every mission is a fun LARP session with the lads. The Knights of Camelot stand for freedom, democracy, and fun sword fights, but when one guy roleplays a little too close to the sun and kills someone over a land dispute in a duel, we're tasked by Arthur to investigate. This will be a good opportunity for you. Most British law is actually just mediating land disputes. Someone has started a forest fire, and now we need to determine if it's either the tree huggers who live in a literal tree 3 fucking feet from the fire, or B, this logger being cagey about his suspicious limp. His kid brother even tries to frame the other family because he's a little shit. Yeah, so anyway, I found out who did it and killed their entire family for you. Holy shit, man, I see you. You're crazy, man. Oh, I got a job for you. For our next mission, we must return to Brickton to sabotage Tommy operations by graffitiing the only wall in town, lighting manure on fire, and just fucking shooting them. We truly are a master of the art of passive resistance. In that same vein of passive resistance, someone has blown up the Westminster train station wearing Camelot night outfits. Arthur sends us to launch an investigation of ourselves to prove we're not at fault. Apparently we are. You don't understand. The fifth column learned of our identities and abducted our families. We had no choice but to bomb that train station. Yeah, but also we really wanted to. Arthur's a total pussy. Barely lets us bomb any civilian infrastructure. We've investigated ourselves and we found no wrongdoing. Unfortunately, the World War I cosplayers aren't willing to accept that and launch an attack on the Monty Python and the Holy Grail cosplayers. Even though they all have Lee Enfields and we have rusty swords, we still win the battle for some reason. I guess those LARP sessions really paid off. 2 of our own have betrayed us after their families were taken. There's an obvious fifth column spy in our ranks, and the rest of the city hates us. We need real solutions. Let's rename Camelot to the Department of War. Man, that's fucking brilliant. I christen you Knight Gaheris, Secretary of War, and your first order of business is to locate that fifth column spy. Befitting my new title, I immediately head to the closest bar. Through a series of unlikely weekly events, we discover the man's Kalshi account and learn he makes the worst bets on the planet. Since he obviously has no idea what he's doing, we challenge an inebriated Lancelot to a duel and jump the guy who bets on him. No, Lancelot was supposed to be a sure bet. I brought a gun, you fucking moron. With the spy located and I guess that plotline wrapped up, Arthur wants to arrange a peace conference with the Tommies. Well, I would certainly like to make peace, but General Admiral is missing after our attack, and we can't do anything until we hear from him or prove he's dead. Our command structure is insanely brittle. Yeah, it sounds like you guys have really paralyzed yourselves. If we prove we've killed your leader, can we have a peace treaty? That does seem to be the upshot of this conversation, yes. You'll need to ask another character, Major Allen, for permission, though. He's next in line, after all. Hello, Major Allen. Yes? We killed your boss, and I'm gonna prove it. Smashing! After the most cursory search, we find him in a field with 2 gunshot wounds to the back of the head. Well, that's an obvious suicide if I've ever seen one. Of course not. He loved the back of his head. Then, just in the middle of all this, apropos of nothing, we go to a party in Westminster with Agent Guinevere to uncover the 5th column spy in the Tommies. This is the lamest party I've ever seen. Who invites the police? But through our extremely subtle espionage, we learn that the traitor is Major Allen. When we return, Major Allen makes his move and tells the 3 Tommies within earshot they should join with the 5th column. Chummies, have you ever wanted to say the N-word in public? In response, Arthur gives an extremely long but generally solid speech in favor of not joining the literal book-burning fascists. It is time for the Camelot Loppers and the Great War Loppers to finally join forces against the 1984 Loppers. You'll notice we haven't actually proved we weren't responsible for that Westminster bombing they were so mad about, because we technically were, but I guess because they couldn't wipe us out in one poorly planned attack, they figure we should just become eternal allies. After begging to give peace a chance, Arthur orders us to exterminate the 5th column with extreme prejudice. I cherish peace with all my heart, Geheris. I don't care how many fascists I have to kill to get it. Eve, we just want to talk to you. Eve, you in there? Rather than shoot Arthur through the door and instantly win the battle, Eve Varney shoots herself before I can get her to explain what her actual political positions are. I could have fixed her, you know. Dude, she rediscovered fascism. You couldn't have fixed her with a fucking construction crew. Yeah, you're right. Hopefully Lily will be okay after all this. Now that the pleather fascists are dead, Lily Varney has been relocated to Ye Olde re-education camp, and the entire city is primed to string up the rich in the coming revolution. It's time to launch a fucking trebuchet at Westminster Gate. Battling through the streets of London, we're tasked with capturing every strategic point in the city. In our way, an army of mutant abominations, bald non-binaries, dismounted cavalry, and 1,000 instances of Star-Lord if he was a Hugo Boss model. Backing our attack, we have 2 different eras of LARPers, each using period-accurate weapons. Yeah, these guys would not have made it past the front gate without me and my endless supply of explosives. Geheris, we are so fucked. You gotta get in there and fix this for us, man. Upon entering the Palace of Westminster, we discover that Parliament is incredibly handsome. That's when we learn the big twist, that you were English the entire time. Since we're a Smythe clone, I guess we're also a member of Parliament for what I can only assume is a public restroom in Slough. We're also the only member of the opposition, and now we must stand trial for the decisions we made over the course of our playthrough, which might be one of the most brilliant concepts I've seen in a Fallout game. If I wasn't busy overthrowing the government charges Mr. Smythe and the opposition with treason. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request a change of venue. I mean, not only am I the defendant, but I'm also the prosecutor and the jury. I can't trust any of these bitches. All opposed? What the hell, guys? Wait, is this side of the room not the opposition? I might not know how Parliament works. Guilty. Sentenced to death. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to table a motion. To face down Minister Smythe, we need to climb Victoria Tower. But before he lets us, he demands we deposit all our weapons in the bin. If he really wanted to win, all he would have had to do is put one Judge Holden behind that door. At the top of Victoria Tower, we face down Minister Smythe and finally get some answers. The original Smythe revered the democratic process. He just lamented the outcomes. So he found a way to backdoor autocracy by cloning himself and running in every elected office. I cloned you, and you were meant to replace me. Everything went perfectly until you woke the fuck up, samurai. Man, I just overthrew the British government with the equivalent of peasant rabble. You blew it way before I showed up. Maybe. I suppose the only solace I'll have now is killing you. Why did you just hand me an umbrella? Welcome to the final boss fight of the game. You, which consists of taking turns whacking yourself with an umbrella like Mary Poppins finally snapped, occasionally getting your eardrum shattered by Big Ben. It's 12:43. The timing on this clock is ass. I only have one more question for you, Mr. Smythe. You got a license for that crime against humanity? And so, with Smythe finally dead, the several hundred other Smythes crossed the floor to support the opposition. Because Tories never change. Arthur, true to his word, founded a new democracy with free and fair elections. I know, I don't believe it either. Yeah, there are no downsides from this one. Unless you forget that like a third of the constituency is openly fascist. Or about that massive lava field. Conclusion. Considering everything you've just seen was from a community mod posted for free, what the actual fuck? Not only only are there an insane amount of unique assets, but the fact that the story was actually not bad really sets it apart from other story mods for Fallout 4. I'm not sure what it means that Bethesda's modding community has gotten so big and so professional they can just make Bethesda's entire fucking games for them. The point of no return was really early, and like I said, the third act hangs together pretty loosely. But again, it's free. I've given this game a lot of leeway because it's free, but to be honest, it demonstrates that Bethesda's core exploration-based gameplay loop still works really well when it's not being broken up by loading screens and empty fields the size of the entire map. For all the talk of how hard Bethesda has fallen off, Fallout London proves that making a good game with all the tools Bethesda has is still technically possible. And after the Starfield video left me feeling pessimistic about the current state of Bethesda, it's reassuring to know that no, it really is them. So congratulations to Team Fallout for keeping the spirit of New Vegas alive by spinning gold out of the creation engine. Like I said, it's a minor miracle we even got this at all, but it's a major testament to Team Fallout that it's as good as it is and as big as it is. I only covered a portion of the main story. There's other branches and loads of side quests. They've even got DLC. It's a real testament to how interesting Fallout's world is, that people want to view their own town through the lens of stagnated culture and nuclear destruction. Thank you to all my glorious patrons. I've been working on that giant Disney Channel original movies video, and thanks to their support, I've been able to bring on another editor, which has really helped me focus on the main channel videos. So each and every one of you freeloaders should say thanks to them too. For the first time in a few years, I'm not really sure what game I'm going to do next. So we're all going to be surprised when I upload the next video in 6 months.